You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Andrea Lutz. Ahead tonight, one of the most contentious bills of Montana's 66th legislative session is signed into law today by our governor. We're going to take a look forward at Medicaid expansion, what it will do for Montana. Plus, whooping cough numbers nearly reaching triple digits in Missoula County. We're going to have an update coming up. But first, a fiery explosion in Billings leaves 2 people seriously burned at a tanker wash bay. Well, tonight, new details coming from fire officials as they investigate what led to that explosion. This crews spent time also checking for hazardous chemicals after that blast. MTN's David J. takes us to the scene.
The Lockwood Fire Department responded to an explosion and fire in the Polar Service Center's tank wash building.
There was an attempt to either remove some fuel so they could clean the tanks, and we're going to assume at this point, we can't confirm it yet, that either one of the motors from the pump or something inside, maybe static, ignited the vapors from the gasoline and we had an explosion.
As soon as they arrived, firefighters quickly helped rescue the 2 workers involved in the explosion.
They both received burns. One is a little more extensive than the other. We believe their ages to be 41 and 23. We're still waiting to hear whether they're significant enough to be transported to one of the burn centers in either Salt Lake or Denver. That was the first order of business, get the 2 individuals, get them loaded in an ambulance. We want to thank AMR for coming to our aid there. And then they started fighting the fire.
The Lockwood Fire Department ventilated the wash bay, and the Billings Fire Department and the regional hazmat team found safe levels in the air and still had to determine what chemicals were in the building.
Because of the types of products they do in there, use in there, these tankers carry everything from hazardous materials to fuels and so on. We had to call the Billings regional hazmat team to determine what those products were, how they infect the environment, whether we can put water on them, whether they're safe for the people in the community of Lockwood. So that becomes the secondary part after the rescue's done and the fire's put out.
And the chief says Polar has a tank to collect the contaminated water. David J., MTN News, Lockwood.
And we did check with the fire chief just before news time. We're learning that both of those injured workers were transported to the burn center in Salt Lake City. We're told firefighters were able to clear the scene just a little bit before 7 o'clock tonight. New numbers are in from Missoula County as 2,000 people have now come in contact with whooping cough. An update tonight as 89 cases are confirmed with 18 area schools feeling the effects, and health officials say the majority of the whooping cough cases involve both vaccinated and unvaccinated high school students. Nurses continuing to screen students and identify any close contacts. Well, the mayor of Helena is teasing a major announcement as sources close to MTN say the Democrat will run for Steve Daines' Senate seat in 2020.
I may not look or sound like the regular politicians, but I'm a hard worker and I get things done.
WILMOT Collins, he took to Twitter to post that video. He touts how many thought a refugee couldn't be elected to office in Montana. He says, let's prove them wrong again. Collins is the first African-American mayor in Montana, and his announcement is set for Monday, May 13th in Helena. A warning tonight to Montanans as the Department of Commerce says there's a fake census survey showing up in the mailboxes of voters. The survey comes from the Republican National Committee. They are also asking for money, a $15 processing fee. Well, the census doesn't ask for money, but the 2020 census is going to start happening, and it could determine if Montana qualifies for another representative in Congress. The continuation of Medicaid expansion is signed into law today, but it wasn't the only health care measure to become law. MTN's Mike Dennison reports.
Scores of lawmakers, health officials, and supporters packed the governor's conference room Thursday as he signed not only the bill to continue Medicaid expansion in Montana, but several others to tackle everything from prescription drug costs to mental health treatment.
These priority bills work together to protect the progress our state's made in recent years to provide quality and affordable health care to all Montanans. They'll further our efforts to increase access, reduce costs, and improve the quality of care.
Bullock signed 4 bills Thursday. 5 others had been signed earlier but were part of the ceremony. They included a bill from Representative Jessica Karjala of Billings to fund suicide prevention efforts with a special emphasis on military veterans.
Montana has one of the worst suicide rates in the nation, though we are improving, but Our veterans commit suicide at twice the rate of other people.
And another bill from Representative Jonathan Windyboy of Box Elder establishes community health aides on Montana's Indian reservations.
The tribe's Indian Health Service programs will triple their third-party revenue, and as well as also have the ability for the dental health aid technicians, behavioral health aid technicians, mental health aid technicians.
But the star of the ceremony was House Bill 658, the bill from Republican Ed Buttrey of Great Falls that continues Medicaid expansion in Montana. Medicaid expansion will bring $1.4 billion of federal money into the state over the next 2 years and cover an estimated 90,000 people. And the state treasury's net share of the cost will be a mere $16 million. Supporters of the bill flocked to the ceremony at the Capitol, and Bullock gave them and all the program's advocates a special thank you.
And thank to all of the rest of you gathered here and in every corner of the state that worked hard, who talked to legislators, who organized in communities, who underscored the importance of health care to make sure that this could happen today.
The big dog in this health care pack is certainly Medicaid expansion. But the rest of this group of bipartisan bills takes aim at health care problems facing many more Montana citizens. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
All right, despite today's signings, the governor also vetoed a significant health care measure. That measure meant to lower prescription drug costs. Well, now that sports betting is legal in Montana, lottery officials say they're already hard at work implementing a system that will work. Those with the Montana Lottery say they're still in the design phase, and they say they will roll out sports wagering. Just like any other game, the lottery will run a Montana sports book. The details, though, are not finalized.
So what that means for Montanans is you won't be seeing sports wagering at every grocery store and gas station that currently sells Montana Lottery. It will be only locations that get a sports wagering license, and it'll only be in locations where it makes sense.
Montanans are encouraging people to send in some feedback. The Montana Lottery has a year to implement sports betting into law. Gallatin County administrators and city officials are now coming to the table to talk. This after a rift over the 911 dispatch center's response times. Officials say the meeting was productive, but recently the Bozeman Fire and Police unions filed a vote of no confidence in the dispatch center. Their grievance is over response times and communication.
It went well. I think the city and the county are trying hard to see each other's perspectives. It's just going to take some ongoing conversations.
Right. Well, additional meetings will happen in the future. Of course, we'll let you know what those future talks are about. So new information surrounding the clearing of the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park. The progress continues. The road is now open to the west side of Avalanche Creek's gate. On the east side, visitors can drive from St. Mary to Rising Sun. And park officials say the earliest the entire Going to the Sun Road could open is June 22nd because of the pavement preservation project. New details tonight in the case of a Billings businessman accused of defrauding a dozen banks in an alleged scheme to buy oil tankers. 47-year-old Todd Capser was set for a hearing today in Billings, but waived that right. He now will appear in the Southern District Court of New York. Capser was a prominent member of the Billings community and a Conrad Burns staffer. Tonight, he remains in the custody of U.S. Marshals. The drug epidemic, from meth and heroin to opioids, it continues to rise across the country. But the fight to stop it also continues. As MTN's Cody Boyer shows us, the Missouri River Drug Task Force often goes undercover to stop it.
We're here for our communities. We're here for all the 7 counties that we work in.
It's a scourge that has been labeled an epidemic across the entire United States. Commander Ryan Stratman of the Missouri Drug Task Force says having dangerous drugs like methamphetamine is almost never the only crime.
A lot of these crimes that we estimate in the 90 percentile of the crimes committed revolve around drugs and alcohol.
When it comes to stopping the worst, Commander Stratman's undercover officers are the first to investigate.
These are long, complex investigations with multiple individuals involved. They're hard workers and they They take this job on and they take it seriously.
The officers say the drug epidemic applies to many drugs, including opioids, marijuana, meth, and heroin. According to the task force, the concern with marijuana lies in the THC level. Back in the 90s, they say the drug used to have 7%. Today, bump that up to 30 to 40%, with marijuana products like wax and shatter bumping up to 90%. With meth, though, they say the concern is steeper as it has become easier to purchase. The task force says 7 years ago, a gram cost about $180. Looking at today, 3.5 grams could have a street cost of $50 to $80. And while labs are less prevalent, 90 to 95% comes from Mexico.
The task force says prescription drugs are also a big problem, and they're easy to get, so boxes like these are very useful. Still, when it comes to the overall drug epidemic, they say meth is the larger issue.
Our number one drug that we investigate is methamphetamine.
And as the task force hopes, some public education that could make a difference in Montana.
When you hear of the opioid crisis, or you hear of a drug epidemic, or you hear of methamphetamine, now you have some understanding of what the task force is and what they do.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
And any reports of suspicious activity from the public can go a pretty long way to helping the task force's mission. On new details tonight out of Billings, where a woman is facing her 5th DUI after police say she hit a pedestrian. 48-year-old Lauren Shotgun is accused of striking a woman on North 27th Street with her Ford Explorer. This happened on Tuesday. Well, now police say Shotgun had a blood alcohol level 4 times the legal limit. She could face 10 years in prison. The Poverello Center in Missoula is in a crisis after a major plumbing issue rendered the kitchen useless. Officials say the food in the kitchen is also destroyed. So in the meantime, the POV is asking for food donations since they don't have a fully functioning kitchen now. They're even asking for sacked lunch items to get them through the crisis.
Things that we need for supplies. Our sliced meat and cheese, we're doing really well on bread, really well on fruit, but I would say sliced meat and cheese and granola bars are really helpful for our sack lunches. We're doing great with volunteers. Really appreciate everyone who has come out to help us today.
Okay, well, the POV also hopes to have that kitchen back up and running by next week. So to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news as we get ready to celebrate Montana moms across our state. There's a special story after the break that proves every day is Mother's Day for these women in Kalispell. And right after the break, Bob McGuire, he's delivering your statewide weather forecast, so stick with us.